What's the difference between the real WWE spinner belt and the re-leathered replica that Rey Mysterio won on Raw? So what you're asking is, what's the difference between real and replica belts? And I'll get into more detail in the specifics in a future video of general real and replica belts. But for now, let's just talk about the spinner belts. So the spinner replica belt that you can purchase on WWE Shop or Euro Shop is significantly smaller in size compared to the actual ring use spinner championship that was CNC made by Joe Marshall. By the way, use promo code HAZARD15 on Euro Shop, 50% off your order. Exclusions may apply. Cheap plug. Another addition and another difference is the fact that a replica belt is not plated in 24 karat gold like most real belts are. Now, over the years, they have improved the shade of gold. If you look at the two comparisons between some of the older replicas and some of the current ones, the gold is a lot darker in shade and closer to 24 karat, or at least looking like 24 karat gold, than some of the older replicas were a lot more paler in color. In addition to that, you've also got the stones. So replicas come with standard stones, as did Rey Mysterio's. The one that I have is re-stoned. This one has cubic zirconias. Some have Swarovski crystals. In some cases, I personally feel like Swarovski crystals actually work better on a belt, but that's just personal preference. Whereas a general replica, and the one Rey had, comes with standard stock stones, which for WWE's sake are not very good, especially back then. They have improved a lot, but back then they were absolutely atrocious. In addition to that, you've got the fact that the plates are a lot thinner. Now, while the spinner replica belt does have some of the thicker plates in WWE's replica catalogue, they still do not compare to the thickness of some of WWE's spinner belts that they've used. And in regards to spinner belts, they've had several now. The earlier spinner belts, like the one with the Smackdown side plate and stuff, were very thin by comparison to some of the later versions. But you get to the HD ones and they're like 10 millimeters thick, and they were absolutely ridiculous. Now, the weight of the belt is also significantly heavier for the real belt compared to the replica. Now, considering it's quite a chunky replica, this actually doesn't weigh very much. Whereas the spinner championship belt at its heaviest, maximum weighed, I'd say the heaviest version, was probably about 12 pounds. There is an image online of a ring use spinner being weighed, and I don't think that's the thickest and heaviest version, but that particular version only weighs 10 pounds. So the plates, in all likelihood, were hollow, therefore decreasing the weight of it. Although, even then, the ring use spinner belt, or any of the ring use spinner belts, would likely have been heavier than the spinner championship belt. And when you compare the images of John Cena and CM Punk in the ring with the real and replica belts, it's kind of jarring, the differences between the two.